Hello, welcome back to whatever this comic book show is called. We really should get into naming things. It's really hard to name things. Anyway, comics. Superman, number 9. I almost have to look at the numbers. I don't know what we're on. 9. Superman, number 9. I want to say I quite liked it. I'm late to the show. It was like last week, the week before. I'm still on board. I'm still mostly on board with what Bendis is doing. I feel like I have less of a tolerance for his Bendisiness when it's not Reese or Ryas or whatever his name's pronounced, like doing the art or anyone of that kind of caliber. Not to crap on whoever's doing the kind of backup art, because it is kind of like backup art. Because Royce is still in here. A lot of the stuff, well, a bit of the stuff is kind of still him. It's just that most of the book isn't. I would be careful if you're just here for the art. I would be wary of that. I'm looking at the pages whilst you can't see them. So some of it is still him. The art is fantabulous. It's big. It's epic. It's perfectly what the book needs. And not to say that like the art by the other people's art is not good. It's just not the same art, and I'm sure that probably upsets a lot of people. It doesn't upset me necessarily. It doesn't upset me. Like, I find it's fine. It's totally like readable, epic. Like, I mean, look at that. Look at that splash page. That is a lovely splash page. I feel like I can do more of showing you the actual book because it's been like a week or more, and everybody that cares has read it already. But yeah, I don't know, because my main kind of feelings when reading issue 9 was I don't know where DC are currently at. I don't know what their universe is. DC, as I've said in other videos, has always been quite a nicely, kind of neatly boxed off universe. They've done their pre, their post Flashpoint, their pre, their post Crisis, all that kind of stuff. It just fell on the floor. Oh, hey. We're realistic here. We don't do any of that fancy editing. But no, it's probably going to fall on the floor again. We'll watch it. Keep our peoples peeled. But yes, I've always kind of known where DC's at because they've always been very clear. It's probably a bit shameful that they make such a kind of spectacle and such a kind of product out of them rebooting their universe. But I feel like that's, I don't know, I feel like that's a better way of doing it than Marvel has. And Marvel's last reboot was properly Terrorleft. It was a universal reboot. And I guess I'm being hypocritical in saying that, but, Secret Wars was terrible. So there's that. Don't know if people hold Secret Wars in high regard, but I'm going to put that opinion out into the world. Secret Wars 2015 or whenever it was Garbo. I should probably make a video about that, but that would mean I'd have to read Secret Wars again, and I could. It's in the cupboard over there. It's in the long boxes. I could read it. Sidetrack. Okay, sidetrack. What, I can't think of the word. Oh, that's gonna burn me up. Side note. Secret Wars 2015 is a universal reboot, and I'm here for universal reboots. I don't really much care about retcons as long as you talk about them and explain them away in universe, hand wave them. The minimal amount of kind of efforts really needed to appease me on that. Secret Wars was touted as the end of the Marvel Universe and the end of the Ultimate Universe, and it was those things, but it wasn't, but it was. They killed the Ultimate Universe, merged a lot of the successful and financially profitable elements of the Ultimate Universe, like Miles, with the main universe. And I'm sure they've probably addressed some little bits and bobs of the edges of that since then. Not a big Marvel fan, so don't know. But Secret Wars was just Game of Thrones pandering for years. It felt like, was it 9 issues? It was some amount of, and they were always delayed. I mean, I feel confident in saying they were delayed because big events always get delayed, but I want to say it was delayed and it just ran on, and they had a big wall to keep zombies out and an army of Thors, and it was like the height of Game of Thrones, and they just busted out, and I'm sure it made incredible financial success, but that issue 2 of Secret Wars, where it's Because issue 1's like end of the universe stuff, and then issue 2 is just it's just Game of Thrones. That's probably one of my most hated comics, and I suppose that does deserve a video at some point. Maybe I'll subject myself. Like, I could probably talk about it, not having read it, but I'd feel bad. Anyway, the point at the start of this video was that DC's current universe, I don't think it didn't have like a big crisis book or like a big kind of summer event thing to shape whatever universe it is now. I think it happened in Superman, but I wasn't reading Superman at the time because my comic shop that existed in my town had shut down. So I was between comic shops. I wasn't buying comics. I was out with comics, and like I was there for the build up to it, but not the actual development. It'd be better if I scripted these because then I could work out the words. But the deployment of the universal reshape happened, and I wasn't there, so I don't know what things are. I get the general gist of it is that the New 52 kind of happened, but like they've merged it with the old thing. Like Superman from the New 52 died, and then but was also merged. Like there was mergings that happened. So things have happened and have not happened. But the point of this 6-minute tirade was that I was 1,000% sure that Owlman was dead. Like I was mostly certain that a lot of the crime syndicate was dealt with, because the crime syndicate happened in Big Goth Johns's Justice League, and I enjoyed that arc. I enjoyed the lead up to that. The Trinity War stuff was pretty naff, but the issue that revealed the Earth 3 shenanigans with the Outsider, the Alfred Outsider, and Pandora's Box Pandora's Box being a portal to Earth 3, I thought was a naff enough joke to be quite funny, and I quite liked it. But I was 100% certain that at least Owlman was dead, or mostly dead, because didn't he get splatted by Dr. Manhattan? And this is the thing, because I was aware of the kind of weird, the vague, the very un-DC rebooty kind of things. I was aware of that going into this, but I was also quite mindful that Dr. Manhattan, who's a big threat or a big deal currently in a current book in Doomsday Clock, had splatted Owlman. So I assumed that had stayed in continuity or whatever. But the crime syndicate are fine. They're here. They seem to be kind of a reset version of the New 52 sign crime syndicate. I'm not up on the crime syndicate that much. I read their first appearance. I've got a trade with them in it. They look great. I'm a huge fan of pre-crisis Owlman with his like old man, his middle-aged man face with like the owl hat. It's great. I'd say best Owlman right there. Fight me in the comments. Now, I have it in hand, so that's not what fell. It was another thing that fell. So don't really worry, people that are worried that I'm dropping my comics everywhere. It's because there's not any like shelf space. They're just kind of precariously perched in there. You don't want to see it. It would drive you insane to see what's happening in there. What am I telling you? But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff. It's crime syndicate stuff. This is like Superman's dreams that are happening, and he's kind of got this continual dream where like it's called the Unity Saga. I don't get that from like actually reading the Superman books, because there's kind of vague thrusts in Superman's dreams that like world peace has been achieved, and even Zod's on side. Like the gist of Superman's dreams is like even Zod is on side, but then vague evil happens and everything falls apart. And I'm very particular with my Superman. I'm very, very particular with my Superman. I don't know if I like that. And that's kind of the tone of a lot of things that Bendis is doing with Superman. It's not like I'm outright angry at what he's doing with Superman, or outraged or offended. Some things that he does, I'm not like, they're Bendis-y things to do, which kind of gets the pass, because at this point, this deep in, I have Stockholm Syndrome for whatever Bendis does. Like, I'm back on Superman basically because I heard Bendis was on Superman and I had to get in on that. I think he's done a good job so far. He's he's suffering right now currently in the kind of Trade 2 thing, because Bendis is here for Trade 1, and then he'll do like a filler Trade 2, and then after filler Trade 2, he'll do the event book. And that kind of looks like where we're going, because I've been very, very quick to drop the F-bomb filler in this review and in my life in general. If I don't like something, especially when I was younger, I would tend to drop the F-bomb. I'd be like, yo, that's just filler. You gotta be wary of that. That's just filler. The stuff he's doing with Jonathan Kent, we Superboy, it very much feels like it doesn't matter because, you know, it's time travel stuff. It's kind of other Earth stuff now. And it's comic book plot, because it doesn't feel like that kind of this is what Superboy is now plot. It kind of feels like this is a thing you're doing with Superboy, and you don't feel like Superboy's true daddy, if I can use that term, because the Super Sons book I think is still going, and people really like that, and I really like the look of the Super Sons book. Not enough to buy it necessarily, but I like that there's a book out there that's kind of all ages, like kids fun, and that's good. He's kind of, I don't know, he's aged Superboy up, and I feel like Lois came off pretty bad in that whole kind of thing, because she left him with clearly evil Jor-El, who's clearly evil. I've not read all of Bendis' stuff with Jor-El, but clearly Jor-El was evil, and like Lois was quite easily convinced that to leave her son in space with the clearly evil man. And it was kind of necessary for the plot to happen, but that's not a compliment. But yeah, I should probably talk about things that happen in the book. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of Bendis-y talking. There's a lot of kind of just Ultraman being a very talkative and emotional person. I don't know if I can... I'm a Grant Morrison fan, and I don't know if I can take... Because Ultraman's Scottish, isn't he? Because he at least was back in... Was Animal Man he was Scottish? I feel like Ultraman was Scottish. So I feel like I can't take it when he's like not written that way. I know he retains a lot of his New 52 persona here, because he's like addicted to kryptonite. I don't know if that was the case beforehand. Again, I've not actually read the Grant Morrison Ultraman stuff. I've not read the Earth 2 or whatever it was, Earth 3, I should say, story. But I feel like the New 52s where they introduced the kind of addicted to kryptonite angle. Let me know in the comments if I'm vastly wrong there, but I feel like that was the kind of like grimdark Goth John's edition. And he alludes to that there, and like all the costumes seem vaguely the same. Power Ring has to be dead, though, doesn't it? Like, how does Jessica? Is it Jessica Cruz? How does Jessica Cruz exist? But then, like, Power Ring, like, how is he? Didn't that happen? Because like, isn't the Power? You know, comics. These are things that I could easily wiki these things and it'd be fine. I definitely don't want to be, as much as I am, I don't want to be like, oh, this comic sucks because it's not in continuity, like it's not in perfect alignment with everything that's come before, because like that's, like comics are that, and that's comics' major strength, that there's these big, massive, interconnected worlds, but you kind of have to take them as they come. Because like Bendis, because he's just like a big guy, you know, he just wander into town and write wherever he wants, and that will contradict. So I'm not kind of blaming him for that. It's just that's probably the kind of generic reboot that's happened vaguely. Look at this though. Like, look at that page. Look at this Bendis-y page. I don't even know if that's good, because like you've covered up the artist's lovely work. And I know it's getting the point across that there was a lot of talking. And he just says, there's a line here that says, Dad, it was so much talking, because like Ultraman has Jonathan? Superboy. He's got wee Superboy in a volcano, and there's no sun apparently in Earth 3, so he's not got any powers. Trapped him in a volcano, and he's just like venting at Superboy. And I kind of like that. I kind of didn't felt very Bendis-y, but there's this line, Dad, there was so much talk. I asked Bendis about this. He never got back to me, funnily enough. I asked him about it on Twitter, if that was like some sort of self-dig at himself, because he must know that he writes vast amounts of words where he doesn't really have to. I like Crime Syndicate stuff. It's really fun. Like, I like alternate versions of the main cast kind of thing. And I know this isn't a Justice League book, but they're definitely a good addition for Superman and like a kind of Superman villain. I always maintain that Superman should have kind of the whole of the DC universe. The kind of, because you say that Superman has like naff villains, and like Superman specific villains are quite naff. As much as I like Lex, he's quite naff. Metallo and stuff, they're very not great, and you can sit there and be like, oh, Batman's the better hero because he has like the more iconic rogues gallery, and it's like, aye, But also, basically all of DC are like Superman's villains because he's Superman. Like he can deal with everyone. So slinging the rogues, the rogues, that'd be cool. I'd like to see the rogues versus Superman. Like, see, has there ever been a story where the rogues have attempted to rob a bank in Metropolis? I'd like to see that. Let me know. I bet that is. There's been 80 years of continuity. Let me know. I would read that. I love the rogues. The rogues are great. Bye. The Crime Syndicate. Superman versus the Crime Syndicate. It's pretty good. I know you'd want the Justice League to have your mirror matches in there, but it's a good thing. I was excited to see it, is where my brain has been thrusting at for the longest time. I was excited to see it because I like parallel Earth. I like parallel Earth stuff in DC, especially all the kind of Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3 stuff. It works quite well for me. I like this book. I like it as much as it's got like that kind of nagging sense at the back of your brain, like how does this work? How has the reboot happened? Where's every piece fit, and how can the Crime Syndicate be the way it is? Because that is just Power Ring. Like I thought it was on the cover, but like Power Ring is just there with his Power Ring. So like, is Jessica Cruz's origin different now? Because she was infected by that Power Ring. Like it's part of her whole thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. One of the main things I like this comic for is the Superman, and it's got a wee bit in the bottom. It's not even inside. It's on the bottom of the front cover, and it's like, yo, you're buying a Superman comic. Maybe you want to go see Shazam. And I totally do. Expect a video of that. I don't know. I'm very bad at being like an online internet man. I can't do everything. I don't really want to do everything. Like I don't have, like I have social media, but I'm not going to link it. Like I'm never going to get to the stage where like, yo, follow me here, here, and here. I'll make jokes about like, comment, and subscribe, but you're not going to. We're not going to drive engagement. It's not going to be like that. But yeah, I would recommend that you go watch Superman. Superman 1, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4 even. I want to go buy that. I saw it in VHS the other day. I've never seen Superman 4. What I meant to say was you should be reading Superman. Superman's good. It's Bendis, and Bendis comes with a lot of Bendisy baggage. Bendisy baggage. Sounds like a Hobbit, doesn't it? But yeah, it's good. It's generally good. I know he's making overtures. Because I follow him on the Twitter. He was making overtures about it's Leviathan, I don't know. I don't read Action Comics. I can't commit to that. Like I should, if I was younger, man, I'd probably be reading Action Comics and Superman. But the one I got of Action Comics was, it's just not what I want to be reading as Superman. I want to be reading the kind of big, bold stuff, and I'm not necessarily getting that from this book because it's Jonathan quite focused now, and I want it to get past that because I just want to be reading big, bold Superman stuff, and I don't think any of the John stuff will stick, so it kind of feels a bit wishy-washy, but yeah. I know they're thrusting towards a big summer event, and I hope Bendis gets his big DC summer event, and I will be there for that. Heroes in Crisis has been guff. It's not for me, maybe necessarily. Maybe guff's too hard a word, but it has been guff. To be honest, it has been guff. So I'm very excited for whatever shape the first big Brian Michael Bendis DC summer crossover event takes, because it'll probably be something. Like maybe, I don't know why I'm kind of gravitating in my mind towards it being, because I've not seen anything of it yet. They've started to build up, but they're not really put any names out or anything. It makes me think of kind of Secret Wars. I don't know why. I've got nothing to go off other than he's doing it. But like when I think of big summer, Bendis events, I think of Secret Invasion for some reason. Even though he did Hunters, but that's the one my brain thinks of first, and hopefully it'll be nothing like that. Hopefully I'll avoid everything about Secret Invasion and the thing he puts out, but my psychic brain is apparently thrusting towards that based on no evidence whatsoever. So take that with an absolute brick of salt that you just batter your face with. But yeah, I should probably stop talking now because I have no cogent points. Cogent? Like, I've been talking for so long that I don't know if that's a word, but cogent, a word of the day, and we're going to go out on it. And it's like 20 minutes. Hopefully the title is so long that you can't see what the Crime Syndicate hates, and then that generates a lot of clicks. Because that's entirely why I did it. A little secret for you there for staying to the end. Anyway, bye. Bye.